Well, welcome to Cashin with Carville for this Thursday, December the 16th. A little bit before Christmas, a couple weeks to go before we really get into the college bowl season, but it does start this week, actually, with a couple of games in Louisiana, which we'll pick. We'll also pick some NFL games. I'm Zach Ewing along with James Carville. James, how are you this fine Thursday?
Well, the weather could not be better. I'm in Bay St. Louis today. The weather couldn't be any better. Looks like Brian Kelly's off to a good start at LSU. Got building up a head of steam going forward. And, the Saints won one. What about that freaking Pelicans game last night?
Oh, unbelievable.
I fell asleep. And then I opened my, of course, 3 people sent me a video of the shot.
They said it was the longest buzzer beater in the NBA in 25 years. So it was something.
Yeah.
And maybe it'll get them going. Who knows? Maybe.
Every time you're ready to give up on them, they jerk you back in.
It's like the old line from Dumb and Dumber. Just when I thought you couldn't possibly get any worse.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to the picks this week. A couple of college football games here in the great state of Louisiana, starting Saturday afternoon with the Independence Bowl. Now, it's BYU, a top 20 team that went 10-2, but only rewarded with I say only, no disrespect to the Independence Bowl, but instead of getting one of the real big-time bowls, they're playing one of the first ones. They're playing UAB. They're 7-point favorites, but you have to question the motivation a little, don't you?
Yeah, I do, a lot. And there's a lot of times when you have a good team that gets stuck in a game they don't want to play, and it's usually a bad omen. So I'm going to actually go with UAB here. Although I think Brigham and Young is probably a much better team. They can't be excited about playing in Shreveport in December the 18th or whatever it is. I
agree with you on that one. Blazers +7, and then that night down in New Orleans at the Dome, the New Orleans Bowl. Which the UL Raging Cajuns, no stranger to this bowl. They've been there several times before. Now, they lost their coach, Billy Napier. He coached the Sun Belt Championship game. Now he's off to Florida, where he, like Brian Kelly, had a good day closing on his recruiting class yesterday. But the Raging Cajuns now face Marshall. They're 5-point favorites at the Dome in prime time.
I like the Cajuns. First of all, it's almost like a home game for them. I mean, it's a bet for Jay Cicero and those guys that run the sports foundation that run the New Orleans Bowl. They love UL being in this game, and it's good for the city because a lot of Lafayette people will come in, and they're going to be excited to play this game.
All right, let's move on. We'll talk plenty more about bowl games in the weeks to come because they start to come thick and heavy, as they say in England. We'll get to the NFL, though, real quick. The Saints get off the schneid, maybe too little, too late. Was running some numbers. Looks like they're going to have to at least go 3-1 in their last 4 games. But I think from talking to you throughout the season, if there's anybody who could pull that off, it's Sean Payton.
Yeah, I think we take Coach Payton for granted. The Saints since he's been here, it's been here for a while, probably second or third best win-loss record in the NFL. And you can book one thing. He's thinking overtime about how to win 3 of these last 4. I promise you.
It starts Sunday night with the Bucs, the toughest test of the 4. So we'll see what happens there. Of course, James doesn't pick the Saints games. He's automatically picking the Saints.
Yeah,
the other 6 NFL games. The first one is Saturday night, and it's a good one in the AFC. Patriots at the Colts, and it's actually the Patriots catching 2.5 here on the road.
I'll take the road favorite here. Belichick is just, you just got to, sometimes you got to stand back, tip your hat and say, wow.
He has them rolling. Do you think, and we can get to this later too, but do you think we could possibly see a Belichick versus Brady Super Bowl?
It's not, I mean, yeah, it's possible. Damn right it's possible. I mean, no one would look at it right now and say that, I would say it's certainly a possibility. I'll let some quant tell me what percent it is, but no one would be shocked if that's where you ended up.
We'll take the Patriots in that one. Moving on to Sunday, a big game for the last NFC playoff spot, and thus a big game for the Saints. Washington football team, all sorts of COVID problems. Last I saw, they have 9 starters on the COVID-19 list. They're in Philadelphia. Philadelphia favored by 6.
You gotta like the Eagles. I mean, you can't have that much go through a locker room. You're on the road. You're not a terrible football team, but yeah, I would hardly call either one of these teams. But I think there's more going on in Washington right now.
Yeah. And probably the Saints are rooting for Washington because they beat them head to head and have that spot. But as we said, the virus really taking its toll on the football team. Moving on to the other side of Pennsylvania in Pittsburgh, where the Steelers 1.5-point home dogs against the Tennessee Titans.
I wrestle with this one. The Steelers are not like the Steelers are old, but I kind of like them at home.
All right, Steelers at home. Another big AFC playoff battle, Bengals in Denver, and it's the Broncos favored by 2.5.
And I'll pick against them, and I'm going to pick the Bengals.
Picking the Bengals. All right. And finally, another team kind of ravaged by injuries more than COVID, the Ravens. Lamar Jackson looks like he'll be able to play, may be hobbled. They're at home. They've been struggling anyway, and it's the Packers -4.5 in Baltimore.
I like the Packers. This Baltimore's got a lot of team issues, and COVID and everything else. And the Packers seem to be kind of they're pretty good. I mean, they're one of the better teams in the league.
All right. So we had a nice comeback last week, and we're looking to go into the holidays here on a hot streak.
We need it. We need a hot streak, man. We need a hot streak. I'll see you next week.
All right. Thank you.
Good games to pick. You bet, Dave.
James Carville, and we'll see him next week.